My next question is also somewhat of an usul, but it relates to practices. Al-ilm al-tajribi, is that accepted or not as a source? I even remember that Ibn Taymiyyah had a comment on this. He said sometimes when you want your dua to be mustajab, you go to one of the old masajid that's no longer used and you give life to it, you pray in it. هذا علم التجريبي. Tajribi means experiential. From the experience is the a'dad of dhikr. This is something that comes up a lot, and I want to know the Hanbali approach to it. For example, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, it's well known that it's spread around amongst the many mashayikh that 450 is its number. As-salah ala rasul 1000 marra fil yawm, 1000 in a day is its number. Okay, and this is not, no one's saying that this is nafl or nadb, mandub or anything, but it's tajribi knowledge. Just like someone says, 15 sit-ups in the morning, 15 at night. Okay, it's just experience. And things like this, run 5 miles a day, becomes a wird for many people in the fitness world. Could you comment on the role of tajribi knowledge?
This has to do with usul. Yes, I agree. Previous question also had to do with usul. I hope when the listeners, when they listen to these things, I hope that they do not rush into bringing this quote from this Hanbali Shaykh who rejected something in particular. We are talking about usul, the usul of the madhab. Do they reject these ideas? Do they accept them? Can this be something that doesn't contradict with the Hanbali usul? This somehow was the question. Or Ahmad Hanbal, and this is mentioned in the books of fiqh, used to believe that if you write some ayat of the Quran in a glass of water and give it to the pregnant woman or give it to the sick person, this would help. Where is this in the Sunnah? If you bring me a hadith, if you bring me that this was done by some of the companions, I will give you other examples from Ahmad himself, from other people at the time of Ahmad, from other Hanabila, who showed us that the usul of the madhab can never be contradictory with such things. If you tried something and it resulted in another thing, and your aqidah is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the real doer of things, I shouldn't fear for you. I should fear for the one who believes that things have the power. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala created the power in them to act accordingly, and they might believe in such things. This is dangerous then. But for me and for anyone who believes that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the real doer of things, and you know that this is the sunnah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Hanbali mazhab doesn't reject such things. In the end, you might find a Hanbali or two rejecting something in particular. But this doesn't mean that they reject the concept. Now, and I have many examples in my mind, but it will take a lot of time. But at least this example of Ahmad is enough.
Which means in that case that there is something known as, if we can rename this tajribi, experiential practice. Is it a type of bid'ah hasana then? Is there such a thing? Because it sounds very much similar. We're going to get the same results. What Imam Ahmad did, for example, recite the ayats or write them in water, dissolve the ink in water or something like this. What else is that besides what we would call bid'ah hasana?
It's just that this is an issue of terminology then. Yes, it's bid'ah hasana, I agree. Do the Hanabila have something called bid'ah hasana? Do the Hanabila? We are talking about a term in the Hanbali mazhab, a term according to those people who call themselves Hanabila. Now this is haqiqa urfiyya, istilah. No, they do not have something like that. Linguistically, yes, it's bid'ah hasan. It's bid'ah and it's hasan, yes. In the Hanbali madhab, al-bid'ah is either disliked or haram, prohibited. This is
Then
it's a term. Bid'ah is a term in that
it's a
case.
term.
Now, which means that there is
Then-
bid'ah hasana, yes, linguistically, yes. We agree on that. Now,
then what would they call such an action, such as what Ibn Taymiyyah said about going to the or the masajid that are out of use, or Imam Ahmad's use of the verses for pregnancy? What would they call that?
they will give it a ruling. They will say this is permissible or this is sunnah. Sunnah. They will call it sunnah. They are not restricted in that case. They do not call it sunnah if it has been done by the Prophet ﷺ only. No, they call it sunnah even if it hasn't been done by the Prophet ﷺ. Now, and they have salaf and they have evidence. Now, this was the strongest example. Ahmad himself writing the ayat, and you know what makes it really strong? That they mention this example in particular in the books of fiqh. And you open a book of fiqh and you see this. Other things from Ibn Taymiyyah about and this is not mujarrabat. This is not even mujarrabat. They are mujarrabat and everything, but look at this knowledge. The dead knows his visitors. He knows them. He knows how they are. He knows about them. This is not only the reliable composition of the Hanbali madhab, this is what you read from Ibn Taymiyyah and Ibn al-Qayyim, rahimahumullah ta'ala. They said the same things and they said more. I just do not remember everything that they said. They said even more than this. This is not even mujarrabat in a direct way. This is weaker than that. And yet they do not mind saying such things. So this area should, and I have many more examples, but the strongest was what Ahmad radiallahu ta'ala anhu did.